Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews and to another video here on the channel. Today I thought it would be very good since this is the start of a brand new year. Don't tell anyone, I'm filming this at the end of 2021, but for you it's the start of a new year, so it's fine. Just a heads up at the start of this video, I'm gonna mix up this year and last year all the time because time is difficult towards the end of the year. Just infer from context which year I'm talking about. I thought it would be fun to revisit my reading resolutions that I made at the start of 2021 and to make some new ones for 2022 because, you know, why not? Life, for me, is incredibly different now to how it was at the start of 2020. How realistic were my past resolutions? Let's have a gander. So I've already watched the video for last year, but I will plonk a link, and a link probably in two places. I don't know how I'm going to do. But basically, I think I maybe failed at all of them. So let's go through them, and then I have some new things I would like to set from last year and some things I would like to stay the same. So my first thing I'd said was that I wasn't going to set any subscriber goals or any kind of like watch time goals or anything. I'm still trying to stay non-numbers focused. Welcome to everyone who has subscribed since last year. I did hit 1,000 subscribers I think I hit it in May? I can't remember, and I never did a subscriber celebration. Oops. So I guess we'll do one when I get to 2,000. But welcome to everyone. It's lovely to have you here. I'm trying not to set goals around people who follow my content. That's just how I always try and be, because this is a fun hobby and not something that I want to stress me out. My reading challenge goal for 2021 was to read 200 books. I kept that the same as the previous year. 200 books is, in theory, very doable for me. As you will know, I had a bit of a month off in August, and I sort of was petering out from June onwards. From about June to September, I was just having not the best reading time. However, I have had a look through where I have kept notes of what I've read, and I'm just going to list these out. The maths is not great. 22 books in January, 16 books in February, 23 in March, 16 in April, 20 in May, 30 in June, 9 in July. Yeah. So by July I'd read 136 books, and this is where I stopped really recording it properly. I read at least 16 books in September, at least 5 books in October, and at least 3 books in August, which I think takes it to around 181 books by the end of November. And then I did start tracking, and I've read 11 books so far this December, and I've got probably at least, what would that be, 81, 92... So I can definitely read another 8 books before the end of the year. So I think I will have just hit 200, and I'm very happy with that. So I'm pretty confident that I did read 200 books in 2021. I'm pretty sure, I can't say definitively, but I'm pretty sure. And we'll talk about how I'm going to deal with that problem in 2022. My next goal was to stay on track with the original schedule I set myself for Overbooked, which basically involved reading 2 books, scripting 2 books, filming, editing, subtitling, all of that stuff. 2 Overbooked books a week for the entire year. That was not a good goal to set myself. I do not have the energy to do that. And it just meant that loads of stuff I really wanted to read was falling by the wayside. So I do have a shiny new schedule for all of my videos for 2022, and it's much more manageable. It's about 1 Overbooked book a week, and I've tried to push it so I get a little bit ahead. I think I'm 1 week ahead at the moment, and I'm slowly trying to get just a little bit more ahead of myself, because Overbooked is one of those things you really can pre-film and it's fine. So I failed at it, but I don't think it was a particularly good goal to begin with. I wanted to track my stats more. That didn't happen at all, because I did not track anything online and I did not write anything down. I think I could probably sit for a good few hours and work out everything that I read and all of the stats and all of the various gubbins. I didn't do that. I think, again, I will come on to how I'm going to handle that in 2022, but it just, practically speaking, I really wanted to take my reading offline last year for various reasons. I was just feeling really... I didn't like it being super visible. I wanted to just read what I wanted to read and then talk about the things I wanted to talk about, and it worked really well. It was really good for me, but it's not great for if you want to look back at what you've read, is what I've learned. I had some series I wanted to start, and I'm going to go off my notes on this one. I wanted to start the Stormlight Archive, and I did. I read the first book, or I listened to it on audiobook, and I have the second one on audiobook as well. I just haven't quite worked out when I'm going to fit that into my schedule for next year, because it's very, very tightly packed. I wanted to finish Robin Hobb, and I did. This is the first goal I can be like, yes, I absolutely, definitely did that. I had a wonderful time reading Robin Hobb. Again, I did it on audiobook. It was just wonderful. I'd love to read through them all again. I'd love to read them physically this time around, but to do that, I think I'd want to buy them all, so I'm going to wait until I've got, some spare change lying around. Wheel of Time. I think I'd said something along the lines of, I don't know if I want to continue with this. My answer is no. I'm okay. I'm probably going to watch the TV series, but I just know the books are not for me. And while I could push myself through to read them for the sake of having read them, I don't think that's best for my brain. 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. I am currently reading that series. I reread the first one, I finally read the second one, and I'm about 50 pages into the third one. That's one of the books I will finish before the end of the year. I'm taking it to my in-laws for Christmas, hopefully. And I wanted to read Nine Fox Gambit, and while I need to read the other two books in the series and reread Nine Fox Gambit, I have them lined up as audiobooks. I'm excited for it. I'm reading them at the start of this year. In fact, let me check my schedule, but I think by the time you're watching this, I might be reading them. 24th of January, I start that series again, which is good fun. I wanted to keep going with vlogs. I can't remember exactly what I said about this. I'm going to call this a win because I did the vlogs up until July, it must have been, because we moved in July. Maybe the start of August? I can't quite remember. And then I just sort of stopped, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do with them yet. There's vague notions of a Patreon coming, but I feel really weird about it, so maybe Patreon vlogs? I haven't quite decided. Don't know, we'll talk about it later. I had a good time making them. They're fun to watch back. I do watch back my own vlogs because I've had such a wild year. It's really nice to just have a look back at what Judith was doing. Now we're onto my non-reading stuff. Running. I have taken a break from running since we got Luna because my brain just will not. I don't have the time of the day, but we've just got to a point where we can kind of leave her by herself a bit more, because it was just a difficult time when Katie was back in the office and I had to be home with the dog and I couldn't really get out, but she's just about comfy enough being left on her own for a little bit, so I'm going to pick that up again in the new year. But at one point in 2021 I could consistently run a 5k, so I'm going to call that a win. I wanted to do a sewing project every month. That hasn't quite worked out because I picked up some fairly large projects, but I would say I've managed to sew every single month. I haven't taken a month off. Having my sewing machine set up all the time has been absolutely wonderful. I've made some really fun stuff. That was another thing I was watching back on the vlogs, like, oh yeah, that dress that I wear almost every week. I made that. That's so exciting. My goal was to make 5 garments that I would genuinely wear and wear frequently. And maybe I have some pictures of me wearing some stuff. I don't think I do, and I'm not doing photos specifically for this video. That's just not going to happen. But I made my orange check dress. I wear that all the time. Slightly regret putting the pockets as low down as I did. If I remade it, I would move the pockets up to the waistband because that's where pockets go. But it's a wonderful dress and I wear it all the time. I made a green dress that I made for a friend's wedding. Didn't wear to the friend's wedding because I was really anxious about it, but I really do love it and I can put my stays on top of it and it's really nice. I've come round to it. It's a nice dress. It's just a little bit too heavy for summer, but I actually do have a picture of this, so I'll put it up. I wear that semi-frequently. It was my first ever zip, so that was a risk. Speaking of which, my stays. I wear my stays all the time. Surprisingly comfortable. A great time. My grey check dress I made maybe in 2020, but I do wear it all the time, so I'm counting it in this list. And I also made a pinafore, which I haven't really worn because it's just needs a little bit of fixing. There's some bits that went a little bit wrong because I maybe made it when I wasn't in the best brain space and I did a lot of corner cutting and I just need to go back and sort it all out. But it's very nice and I have worn it out once and it's very comfortable and the zip is only a little bit botched, so that's fun. My 6th thing, because maybe the grey dress doesn't count, it's not something I'll wear all the time, but I very nearly finished a big piece of costume that I've been working on. There will be a video for that in the new year, I hope. There's a lot left to do on it, but it's a lot of finishing and detailing and stuff, so I'm excited to finish that. But that's probably been my most intense sewing project in terms of like amount of fabric, scope, additional bits and bobs. I'm excited to show it to you. The last thing that I wanted to do was whittle down some of the craft supplies I had, and I did succeed at this, but mainly because we moved house and I got rid of a lot of stuff in the move, or that stuff now resides in the attic so I don't have to think about it anymore. My one thing I really wanted to finish was that orange wool. I haven't finished that. That's somewhere in a suitcase. In the attic, probably being eaten by mice. It's fine. So my new resolutions, welcome to this section of the video. I'm excited to set some. As you can tell, I'm not overly fussed about hitting these. It's just nice to have an intention for the year. So my first big thing is lessons learned from last year. I'm actually going to track what I'm reading. I have been using Storygraph for most of December, which I really love. I like it as an alternative to Goodreads. I find it useful. It's just needs a little bit of tweaking to do with the search function, in my opinion, just to make it a little bit easier, but I'm having a good time with it. I always like to try and start my resolutions in December because that gives me a whole month to fall off and get back on again in January. It's just what I do. But yeah, I'm going to try and keep track of what I'm reading in some way, shape or form, slightly better than I did last year. I'm setting my reading target, how many books I would like to read, to 200 again. It's just a good number for me. It works even when I have a year where I'm too stressed to read anything. Clearly I can hit that, so I don't know what next year's going to hold, but I'm going to try and read 200 books. I have actually, because I plan out my reading for Overbooked and for videos and review copies and things, I have already got 121 books scheduled in to be read. So we'll definitely get that many, I hope. Speaking of my schedule, I would like to try and stay on my schedule as much as possible. I think there are a few moments in this where I haven't planned it particularly well, because I haven't actually planned any time to go on holiday in this schedule, which would probably be sensible, but I think it's flexible enough that I can move things around. The biggest things are going to be getting Animorphs April and Animorphs August done, but I think I can do it. And I really like having a weekly to-do list that's just like, you need to get all these things done, and when it's all done, you can stop and play video games. Like, that's what I want for myself. Because otherwise, I'm the kind of person where I will always feel like there's more work to be done, especially if I've pre-planned videos. I'm like, well, I've got an hour free, why not film all of the videos that I have scheduled? And that's just not sustainable, and it leads to bad content. I would like to keep getting better at sewing. This is one of my goals. I haven't really set how much I would like to sew or what I would like to sew, but I would like to keep feeling like I'm improving my skills. That's definitely something I found this year. I'd really, like, a private goal is I'd like to have a bodice block made for myself. I'd like to properly do the pattern drafting thing where you measure it, you try it on, you make it all fit you properly, because basically from there you can make anything. And that's very tempting to me. But my main goal is to try and get better at sewing. And that could be just making fewer wonky zips in future. I would take that. But I would like to grow that skill. One of the other things is I'd like to get better at the content I consume, or improve the content I consume in some way, shape or form. I think I tend to really lean towards the familiar, and I would like to bring some new voices and some new people into my feed in various different places, whether that's my subscriptions, my social media, whatever else, the TV I'm watching. I'd just like to do more new things this year and have a broader horizon, maybe. And lastly, I don't know. See, this is my questioning, hello future Judith, how did this all go business, because I have been pondering starting a Patreon, and I can't really talk too much about it now because I haven't done a lot of the mental thinky thoughts, but I would quite like to do some Patreon-y stuff, maybe do a either Patreon or non-Patreon book club kind of thing, or read along. I'm trialing some stuff with my, will that video be up by now? Maybe not. With a project that the announcement for which will be coming out very soon, I'm trialing some stuff. The Patreon stuff it's on the back burner at the moment. I say that, it frequently comes to the front burner, but I need to have a think about it in a time where I'm a bit less in the mindset that I'm in, where I'm like, I'm going to do this entire thing today and it's going to be great and I'm going to set it all up and then announce it and then launch it, and then tomorrow I'll be like, I'm tired, leave me alone. So I need tired Judith and awake and keen Judith to weigh in and decide if it's doable. But if you'd be interested, let me know, because I would like to gauge interest. That's helpful information. So hi, Judith at the end of 2022 watching this video. Did we achieve any of these things? Is life, again, immeasurably different to how it was last year? I feel like every year my life changes dramatically. I'm hoping that actually some of the big things are the same. I hope we're still living here. I hope we still have the girl. I'm sure we will still have the girl. She is fast asleep now. Thank you so much. Oh, no, I've woken her up. Never mind. So before she comes over here, let me know what some of your reading resolutions are down in the comments below. Are you pleased with how the ones you set in 2021 went? I want to hear all of your thoughts. While you're down there commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. You can also follow me on social media. Come hang out on Discord where we have a wonderful time talking about books. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. It's gonna be some bloopers now. Welcome back to Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews and to another video. Hello. Good morning. Yeah, that's right. Go to bed. Thank you.